And welcome back to Janky AF and Year of the Aerostar, episode 22. That's two number twos. And we have quite the wonderful one for you here today. It's been a little while, so welcome back. And without much further ado, here we go. We have a 1994 Ford Aerostar minivan, listed for just $1,500 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I see a lot of Aerostars in the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, you know, freedom and Aerostars, they go right hand in hand. And if this ever was a cracked Liberty Bell of an Aerostar, this would be it. Only 137,000 miles. We have a wonderful brown color, which we'll get into in a second, and a lot of sort of random, situations going on here. Looks like a slightly modified. And of course, the most noteworthy thing is a manual transmission. Did I say that already? I don't know. But anyways, I'm saying it again. A manual transmission on this Aerostar. It's a Mazda unit, of course, and I always love seeing Aerostars with manual transmissions. Just melts my heart. They are so fun to drive. A lot to get into in this Aerostar, let's do so. Parting ways with this much loved Aerostar, which has many rough edges for sure, but has been well maintained, is running fine, and includes a huge bunch of both new and used spares, and has some special features as well. Right off the bat, a great start by this seller. I can tell already I would get along with this seller. And if they're willing to bring this Aerostar 4 hours away to where I am, well, things might get a little dangerous. So, here's, and that's in quotations, so here's a 3.0 liter fuel injected V6 minivan with about 137,000 miles. I love that because they're catering to a broader audience there. It has never had any but synthetic motor used oil in it. I had to read that about 3 times to see whether it was only synthetic or never synthetic. But it is only had synthetic, which is quite impressive if you think that this is a 1994 and they were putting synthetic in it from the beginning. I wouldn't say a dubious claim, but that's quite impressive if it truly has never had anything but synthetic used in it. Still starts right up, idles smoothly, and runs great with its Ford factory option Mazda 5-speed manual transmissions. 4 speeds plus overdrive, actually, which I didn't know, so if that is the case, that's new information to me that the 5th gear is an overdrive gear. Now, I technically don't know what the difference is between your 5th gear usually is sort of a cruising overdrive gear anyways, but if it's specifically an overdrive gear, then all the better, I suppose. Obviously, they know their stuff. They know that it's a Mazda transmission, and they're letting, again, the greater public know that it was a factory option and it wasn't some sort of swap or something like that. Here we go with the color. Coffee lovers, Ford's original color here is called Mocha Frost. ... exclamation point. Again, really, really love this listing. This seller has immediately endeared themselves to me. Getting all these facts and figures. I didn't know the factory color was called Mocha Frost, and clearly a great color name and great color. Has a superb brand new $320 Odyssey battery, one of them fancy newfangled batteries. I'm guessing it's something like an Optimum battery. I wonder if that's actually one of them dry cell batteries, or we'll see, I guess. New and used spares also include, ready for this, get ready, 2 service manuals, Haynes and Chilton, 4 additional road wheels with tires mounted, a complete assembled used power steering rack, new set of rear shocks, Gabriel, new Wagner brake pads for rear drums, still an unopened box, new brake lines for front disc calipers, new platinum plugs, new plug wires, new ignition coil installed. If it's installed, I don't know that it's necessarily a spare, but well. New ignition switch, not yet needed, the current one is near to new. Boy, this person was like stockpiling Aerostar parts. I love it. New headlight turn signal module, used taillight lens module, new oil pan and valve cover gaskets, grommets, and bolts. Spare Champion battery. New clutch, all caps. Plus much, much more. They're doing a great job selling this Aerostar, including, if you want, used parts from an 86 Aerostar. So here's the clue right here. Most, if not all, which are compatible. Also true, most if not all are compatible. There were some slight differences. So this sounds to me like a serial Aerostar owner, and as we've seen, I myself am now a serial Aerostar owner, and you can watch the video on my great 93 Aerostar that I have some news on. We'll share that with you shortly. So it sounds to me like they probably had an 86 Aerostar, or they bought one as a parts vehicle. Also, the earlier Aerostars you see more common with manual transmission, so maybe that was why. Just doing a bit of Aerostar sleuthing here. Van has received a rebuild of a section of the chassis, driver's side main beam, and driver's floor area. Beautifully welded in place by Pittsburgh's Nichols Welding. I feel like they should say Pittsburgh's own Nichols Welding. Using 1/8 inch steel, 1/8 inch thick, steel plate. FYI, the need for more of this type treatment is predictable in the future, yet not currently urgent. Boy, that is one of the all-time really honest and well-said ways to say it's fine, but it's not quite fine. I'm going to read that one more time. The need for more of this type treatment is predictable in the future, yet not currently urgent. I could have a whole video just on that sentence, but I love it. Van features, all caps. Welded protective bar panels installed with screws on the rear window and rear side windows as seen. We'll get into some of those pictures. There are no rear seats included. The entire van, it's kind of funny that they have all these spare parts, yet no seats for either of their two vans. The entire van floor behind that, but actually I've seen a lot of Aerostar seats on Marketplace recently, so no problem there. The entire van floor behind the front seats has 3/4 inch plywood installed securely, and a very neat and well-designed 3/4 inch birch veneer plywood sleeping platform is included. It allows 12-inch tall storage space below, accessible at the sliding door and at rear. An aisle has been left along the driver's side to make loading a bicycle or small motorbike still possible without removing, which can be easily done by hand with 2 people. Amazingly thorough. I mean, you're getting an idea. Like the overlanding and camping and transporting possibilities are just swirling around in your mind as you're reading this. Clutch, all caps. Van received a brand new clutch job about 200 miles ago, including new flywheel, engine seal, slave cylinder, and shifter bearings, as well the new friction disc and pressure plate. Also performed then an exhaustive cleaning of the tranny exterior and bell housing interior. The rear hatch strut set is also only a year or 2 old and very strong. That's a good point, because the struts on my 86 Aerostar are definitely shot. Even more recent, a new rear control arm bushing, redo of the anti-sway bar mounts at the vehicle front, new passenger side disc caliper, and new rear crossover brake line. Oh my goodness. Bodywork needed to look its best. Yes, now here is probably the downside of this Aerostar, and maybe the welding issues, the predictable in the future but not currently urgent welding issues, are going to turn off some buyers. Bodywork needed to look its best, most notably at the rocker panels and rear wheel wells, plus interior cleaning. The crumpled rear of driver's side fender looks awful, but the fender is completely solid on the chassis and has passed inspection in this way, for many years. In parentheses, again, I love the thoroughness, was hit by a Pepsi truck while parked. Not a Coca-Cola truck, a Pepsi truck while parked. The van has passed PA inspection every year. Current inspection runs through July. Will be a great van for someone mechanically inclined who knows and loves the breed. I love this, not even calling it a brand, the breed. And yes, Aerostar owners are our own breed. And is willing to contribute to its in quotes, care and feeding. Treating this like a pet. I love it. Price, firm, all caps. And I can't blame you for that, for only $1,500. Your question are welcome. Offers are not and will be ignored. Offers are not welcome and will be ignored. Thanks for viewing. Happy motoring. Well, happy motoring to you, sir. As I can see, this is a gentleman by their name. Never assume the gender or sex of an Aerostar owner. Boy, that was, speaking of exhaustive, not in a bad way, but in a, a very thorough way, very comprehensive. So we have to get into the pictures now. Here, of course, is the Pepsi truck hit. Looks awful, but it's fully intact, don't worry. Now they were this is probably some sort of sealant or anti-rust or maybe just black spray paint, but under there, the Bondo work, again, we can see in this corner here, very, very extensive. And you know, I will say it's a shame, and without throwing any shade at the owner, that some of these Bondo marks were not actually welded in with new metal, because I feel like that would significantly improve the, I don't know, maybe the sellability and the aesthetics of this. But boy, this brown and black all over. As you can see here, really looks like there's just pretty much Bondo on the entire bottom half of this vehicle. Again, this is really funny to me. That I guess this looks like a mix of Bondo and duct tape and black paint. Just janky AF. I love it. Mocha Frost with a little bit of maple syrup, you know, that sort of crept to the bottom and is settled there. Again, just look at all this beautiful, beautiful Bondo work with some flat black spray paint. It does look like it almost has a little bit of a DIY tint job there. You can see by the streaks, and it always has that little purplish hue on the DIY tints. I think it works. It makes the package look good. Looks like some pretty good tires on there. And this is a rear bumper section, which is actually quite intact, with some more black spray paint. Again, just wonderful. I don't know if someone was doing a stencil here or what was going on there. Just liberal use of the black spray paint. Again, another great, this is probably some sort of, again, anti-rust or some sort of goop there that is streaking down the side right across the Aerostar logo. Beautiful little waterfall there. I do really love this color. And it's funny because I said this was sort of a rare color. It's almost like a trope now, and I keep seeing more and more of these things in this Mocha Frost. Now here, just you know, they're not hiding anything, which I love. That's the honesty of this post, and the comprehensiveness of this post is just wonderful. Look at all that Bondo. Oh, Minkya. That's, boy, just a plastering on there. And Bondo does sand, but it doesn't sand really well. And it's just all gooped in now here. Everything is probably all, you know, mushed and stuck together in there. Imagine getting the rear bumper off is hard. And you know, I will say, going to a design thing, you know, the Aerostar seems like a very simple design. I always say this is a deceivingly or deceptively sort of intricate design. And it's funny, actually, you know, to tangentialize here, how one line here is really, you know, crisp and straight. They did some tape work at some point, but then it just went off the rails. These little grooves and body lines in the Aerostar, you can see when you put Bondo all over it, how it really, all these contours, you do sort of, you know, miss their presence when you sort of, you know, change the appearance. Interior, about what you'd expect, but, you know, most notably, we have this wonderful stick shift right here. Now, maybe it actually does say overdrive on this gear lever as opposed to the earlier ones, which just said 5 on them. Now, I'm not, again, I have to find out exactly when this happened. Somewhere around 1990, I would say, when the interior got refreshed, excuse me, the shift lever got bigger and the shift knob changed. Mine is sort of like skinnier, and it has this little bend in it. It's like a school bus driver. It got a little different, and I really would like to drive one of these more modern ones to see if it's any different. I believe there were 2 different Mazda units used, so I'm actually wondering if it's a different transmission or not. But very, very similar. You have some great strange rippage. Looks like the remnants of a seat cover maybe on there, just sort of left hanging to protect your back of your head there. Crank windows, obviously, which makes sense for a manual transmission, and a great, great feature on any Aerostar. These seats are very familiar to me. They look like the rear bench seats of my 86 Aerostar. The front seats of my Aerostar are this brown leatherette, which is very curious that they don't match the rear bench seats, but yet they have all the appearances of a stock Aerostar seat. But they're not the small vinyl seats in the cargo van, so another mystery. And then when you make over 2 million vehicles, that's the great thing about the variation in these, is you never quite know what was what. A great, you know, light brown over dark brown, two-tone interior. We always rave about the two-tone seats on the Aerostar, and these just lovely, bubbly, very comfortable padded seats with the built-in headrest. Very futuristic, very ahead of its time. I still think these are some of the best factory seats in any vehicle ever made, mass-produced. You can see your brand new Odyssey battery. Very impressive, $320. Fairly clean on the inside, and obviously you have your 3-liter V6 in there. Some new shocks, miscellaneous parts. Here's all the things he was talking about. And you know, you have your Haynes and your Chilton. Now here was some of the steel he was talking about. They have these great sort of reinforced little panels here. So obviously this was probably used as a working / camp vehicle. You know, and that's nice if someone smashes your window, they can't get into it. Or just if you got stuff rolling around, rumbling around in there, it's not gonna, you know, hit your glass if you got something in the back there, like a motorbike or a, you know, bicycle. I do love the rounded off edge on this little beam here, and it looks like you got a jack in there. And all manner of tools and straps and everything you could possibly need. This would be a great work vehicle, especially because you're not too worried about the interior, as it's always already been sort of jankified. This is a telltale sign of any Aerostar. This plastic starts to kind of, you know, warp and bend and fall apart. Obviously your struts are in good condition. Boy, the camo in orange too, and the little solar light there. Just, you know, can imagine the adventures that this thing has been on and taken its passengers on. Again, the grate on the back, I really actually do like that. That's a great little neato sort of piece of kit there. And very well done. Someone really took some time on this thing. Again, your plywood that's laid down. Factory roof rack, always very nice as well. You could just take this thing anywhere and do anything with it. And with a manual transmission, it's probably pretty fun to drive. Obviously, it's the standard length, not the extended length. And we'll just take another little tour of the outside here with this great tape job here. I would imagine you could paint all this, you know, in something of a Mocha Frost, and it'd probably hide it a little bit better. Or you could run your black strip here, make it like a sort of a standard two-tone. But just a beautiful Aerostar. Quite a unique one, and again, you're buying the seller and you're buying the description as much as you're buying the vehicle, and I don't see how you could go wrong with something like this. So again, that's a 94 Ford Aerostar manual transmission for only $1,500. Someone please buy this, and someone you know, let me review it after you do, please, because I would love to take this for a spin. Funds are a little tight right now at Janky AF after our second Aerostar acquisition and the money that's gone into fixing that and the million other projects we have going on. So to not scare any of my loved ones or family members, I will probably not be buying this. But boy, it is tempting, especially if they are willing to deliver it. Again, just your it's like what's left of the bumper. It's just all like duct tape and Bondo. I like how they made this line kind of connect. It's got like kind of this crooked mouth. Just very cute and beautiful. Mocha Frost. What more can you say? So, this has been another lovely edition of Year of the Aerostar. Thanks for joining us again. Glad to be back. Hope you've enjoyed all our content that we've been putting out recently. And until next time, Janky do Thanky.
One small step for man, one